What's up, Ohio? Rasan here with She Shreds with Rasan, and I'm bringing to you a really cool kick-ass band out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Thorns, the name of the band. And I talked with Luke, who does vocals and guitar. We're going to talk about all kinds of things, including where they've been, where they're going, their upcoming tour in the UK, and just some other sideline conversations that we had along the way. So super cool guy, awesome kick-ass band. If you like thrash, groove metal, you're really going to dig these guys. So take a listen. And while you're at it, hit that like and subscribe button. Helps me grow so I can keep bringing you cool, kick-ass musicians from the state of Ohio. All right, let's get into it. What's up, Ohio? She Shreds with Rasan here, and I am super stoked for the guest that I have on right now. I'm talking with Luke Schwartz with the band Thorns, and they are out of Cincinnati, Ohio. These guys are really killing it. I'm a fan of their album that they've got out right now called 60 Cycle Hum. So we're going to talk about that and just hear from Luke where you guys are from, where you're going, how you formed, anything and everything that comes up. So thank you so much for being on the show, Luke.
Hey, thanks for saying. We really appreciate you having us on.
Yes, I been checking you guys out for quite a while, so I'm glad that we're able to make this work and connect for this. You guys definitely have a very solid following. I saw on YouTube that you've got over like 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah, the following thing, it's recently in the last year, it's really taken off. It really took off with Muzzle when we released that back
Okay.
almost a month ago, or well, a year ago this month. We released it, 4 days from now on April 30th of last year. And, as soon as we released Muzzle, everything just
Well, I can
skyrocketed
understand
pretty
why.
much.
Muzzle is actually, I was trying to pinpoint if I have a favorite off of 60 Cycle Hum, but I have more than one. Muzzle is definitely one of them.
It definitely is a fan favorite. I will say every time I do a live, like on TikTok, every time I do a live, play Muzzle, play Muzzle. It's just funny.
Yeah, and the name too is pretty cool. I like the name of the song. So one of the questions I always do ask the band is, what went into coming up with the name of your band?
People ask that, and it's really not special. There was
Okay.
nothing special about coming up with the name. We were literally in my friend Ben's basement, and it was just me and Peyton when we started the band in high school. We were seniors, and we're like, oh, let's
Okay.
start a band. So, we're like, oh, what should the name be? We had like a list, and I think we both had Thorns on the list, and we were like, well, let's just do that. It's cool enough.
It
So,
is.
yeah, I mean,
I like it.
that was pretty much it. There was
Okay,
nothing.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes there's a story behind it, sometimes there's not. So there's no right or wrong answer, but it's
right.
definitely a cool name. And I think it makes you guys stand out, believe it or not. I mean, I'm surprised there's not a lot of other bands out there with this in their name.
There's
Or maybe
one
there
other
is, and I
band
just haven't met them yet.
there's one other band from the late 90s. They're like black metal, I think, but it's been a while since they've put anything out, so
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about that. We just think the name's cool, so
Yeah, I do too.
yeah.
And who did the artwork for your album?
So that was the old drummer Connor. He actually when we came up with the idea, we were like, "What the hell are we gonna do for this cover?" Like, cause we were like, "We have no clue." And we sat around, we're like, "Oh, let's do this, let's do this." And, he would come up with concepts of what we would tell him. Like, "Okay, Connor, we want a big tower in the middle and it's like transmitting this signal, but we don't know how to like articulate that. So what come up with some like, you know, concepts or whatever." And, he would come up with concepts. And if you watch the making of the album on YouTube, there's actually, at the end, he puts the transformation of the cover on at the end of the
Oh,
video. So
okay.
pretty much he pretty much built that. He had a 3D builder where he would actually take 3D objects and build the scene in the frame. And, then he would take it to Photoshop and fix all the colors, and he would do all the lighting and stuff in the 3D editor. And I don't know, it was really cool. Like, it was a really
That's
cool
awesome.
cover. It turned out amazing. Like, it couldn't have been a
Yeah.
better cover, I don't think. It turned out great.
Yeah, I
And
think they
everybody
did
always
really well.
comments about it.
It is.
So
It's pretty
we're proud
yeah,
of
it's
it.
pretty cool. Well, you guys you all four of you seem like you're super smart dudes. So how did you all meet?
Well, I met Peyton freshman year of high school,
Okay, and
and,
Peyton is
you know,
the
we were fr
drummer. No,
we
Adam's the drummer, so
yeah,
Peyton is
Adam's
the
drummer,
bass.
yeah, Peyton's
Okay.
bass, yeah. So, Peyton we were in English class together, and we were friends pretty much instantly. We played Xbox all the time, and we were friends before we started the band, so and then one day, you know, we were like, "Alright, let's start a band," and, you know, we did, and he wasn't really into to metal or anything like that, we just
Oh,
thought it was
really?
fun. Yeah, no.
Okay.
So, it was pretty weird, like, I don't know, like, it was just me and him, we were like, "Let's do it, it should be fun," and Connor I knew Connor played guitar, he also went to the same high school, he's a year younger than us.
Okay.
So, I knew he played guitar, but it was the summer after we graduated high school that we actually asked him to come and play. Because I was like, "Dude, we need another guitar player." So, I was telling Peyton we needed one, and, you know, he's like, "Alright." So, we invited Connor over. I knew him from before, but not really that well, and, we got along great, and that was pretty much that, with him, and then, you know, we've been, you know, together ever since pretty much, but,
Okay.
that was in 2022 when we
Okay. When you guys were in
initially
high
s
school?
yeah, when we initially started
Okay.
that, yeah. And
Alright.
then, Adam the funny thing is, so our manager, Craig, actually found Adam on Instagram. He's like, "Check this guy out," because this was after Connor had, quit the band,
Okay.
and we were desperately looking for drummers around here, but he's like, "Oh, this guy's in California, but he seems like a great fit," and we watched him, and we're like, "Damn, he's good. Let's see if we can, talk to him at least," and, so, you know, I managed to text him and he was interested, but I don't know, like, he knew who we were because I guess some people commented on his TikTok like, "Oh, Thorns is looking for a new drummer." And yeah, it was weird. Like, I was like, "No way."
That is
It was
crazy.
weird. It was. And so I just talked to him a bunch and, you know, eventually he was like, "All right, like, I wanna come out and we'll play together and see how it goes." And he came out and man, we gelled amazing. I don't think I've
I
gelled with, like, a drummer like that ever. Like,
His drumming is impeccable.
he's great. I couldn't have asked for a better, dude to join the band, really. He's just a great
So he
guy.
moved to Ohio from California.
He didn't move here yet. He's come
Okay.
here twice already,
Okay.
he's been here, you know, for, you know, a couple weeks at a time, pretty much.
Alright.
And then he's coming back again before we go on tour in, July, so he'll be here for a couple weeks before we leave and just to get everything tight, but yeah, that's how I met everybody pretty much.
Great.
It was just a real smooth thing.
Yeah, I mean, everything all of your music, every song, I feel like is timed out perfectly, among all 4 of you. So, let's talk about, like, I guess, what are your interests musically? What were you raised on? What did you listen to when you were younger?
So, when I was a kid, I was really into, like, I remember watching the first Iron Man movie and hearing AC/DC's Back in Black in there, and I was, like, obsessed with AC/DC after that. I used to wear out my dad's CD all the time that he had, and then, I used to steal his CDs. I used to steal, uh, Ozzy's Greatest Hits. My mom had Van Halen's The Best Of Volume 1,
Okay.
and we used to listen to them all the time in the kitchen, Van Halen especially. Um those are the bands that really I grew up listening to. Skynyrd, Metallica was a huge influence, but they didn't come until much later. They were that was a high school thing for me. I was really obsessed with Nirvana for a long time as well.
Okay.
When I first started guitar, yeah, like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I was really into them. And I don't know, I was getting burnt out of them and like Green Day. I don't know. At the time, it was like, "Nah, I'm sick of it." And then I get to high school, and my dad's like, "Oh, you should listen to them, you should listen." I'm like, "No, no, I'm not into that heavy stuff like that." I lied. I'd listened to them, and I'm like I listened to Ride the Lightning specifically,
Right, who
and
are you
I was like,
guys?
"Damn,
We're here on
this
official
is really
business.
good." And then it
Bad
was pretty much over
business.
from there.
See you
I
in
dove
court,
into
bitch.
everything, and, yeah, that's
Who
pretty
do you
much the
listen
bands that
to? Who do you currently listen to?
um, I listen to a lot of the same bands. Honestly, I listen to a lot of Megadeth as well.
Okay.
Um, Everyone in the band really has been into, like, listening to new wave British heavy metal, Tigers of Pantang, um, Diamond Head, Bitches Sin, just some kind of some obscure bands like that, but, not
Yeah.
obscure in that sense, but some bands like that, they're really fun. Doctor No, just I don't know, did some bands like that, they're really fun to listen to, and covering some songs like that are really fun too, because you just put your spin on some of those songs that aren't well known, and I don't know, it's just really fun. But that's pretty much what I'm listening to right now. But I'm also listening to a lot of Van Halen as well. Lately, I've been listening to a lot. Some of
Okay.
the Sammy Hagar stuff,
All right. Do
especially
you
like
have
5150.
do you have a preference between Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth?
Honestly, I like them both a lot.
Okay.
I can't pick. I would say Dave mostly, but I don't know, I like Sammy's stuff, and Eddie's playing on everything is just fantastic, so I like them both. I like
Have you
every
have you checked out Eddie's son, Wolfgang?
Wolfgang stuff, yeah, Mammoth,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they
I do
rock.
like his stuff.
I do
I
too.
really would like to meet him at some point, I really
Yeah.
would.
He
He seems like
definitely
a really
has
good
his
guy.
own sound. Yeah, he's
Oh,
very
yeah, he
talented
does.
just like his father,
He
but
is.
he has his own sound, and, I think he's doing really good. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
he's he's crazy, like, he's like Dave Grohl off the first, Foo Fighters album, he just plays every instrument on the records, and it's really cool. I respect that.
Yeah, definitely. So I was checking out the video clip that you guys just recently put out. You're showing up to some dude's house and you're serving them basically, saying you're going
Yeah.
to court, bitch. So I take it this is for something that's coming out pretty soon. I love the
Yes.
idea behind the clip that you guys did. So who put that together and whose idea was it for you guys to show up in the
Peyton was
suit?
like, we gotta do something good." So he came up with that the whole thing, and we're like, "Yeah, this is gonna be funny." And
It
he's like, "You
was.
and
I
Connor
think
gotta
that's
do
so
it."
smart.
And I was like, "Alright." He's like, "But you gotta dress up." And I was like, "Alright." And he's like, "Just say this." And I'm like, "Alright, we'll do it." But yeah, so pretty much that's in tandem with coming out with, so we're working on redoing our first album, uh, Sick Fit, which when we did it, we had no fucking idea what we were doing
Okay.
at all.
How long ago was this?
That was 2024 when we put that out.
Okay, well, that's not too long
And
ago.
no, but we just I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing when we recorded it, and it just sounds like shit to me now. And some of the songs on there we're just not happy with, like, at all. Like, it's not really what we envisioned. So we're taking 7, I believe, and, we revamped them, re-recorded them, redid everything on them, the drums, all of it.
Okay,
And we're re-releasing it and replacing that original version. It's just kind of like a demo. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, a demo,
okay, alright,
and putting that out. But yeah, so this new single will be attributed to an EP that we're putting out of so I know this is probably confusing, but yeah, so it'll be separate. The new version of Sick Fit, the album, will be out way later, but
okay,
we're putting out an EP in advance to our UK tour later this year. So it's just going to be 4 tracks, revamped Bad Business, revamped Sick Fit, and then 2 alternate versions of Muzzle and Headcase from 60
oh,
Cycle.
sweet,
They're just slightly different.
okay,
So yeah, and then,
and
we're
that is
calling
that
it
what's
Ready.
coming out next month?
Yeah, so that'll be coming out May
Okay,
15th, and we're calling it Ready to Strike, the EP, from Muzzle, the lyric. But
okay,
and then, the tour will also be called the Ready to Strike Tour UK 2026. So yeah, it's just all connected pretty much with that.
so how long are you gonna be in the UK?
Oh man. Well, it's interesting because we don't really know. Like, they're still getting dates together, I believe, and we could be there longer than a month, less than a month. Right now, it sits we'll probably be there like 3, 4 weeks, roughly a month, 3, roughly, probably.
Okay,
So we'll
oh
see.
my god, this is so exciting,
Yeah, everything's kinda
and
shaping up. I
have any of you been to the UK before?
never well, 3 of us haven't, I don't think. Connor's been once, but other than that, no. We've never been out of the country otherwise.
Okay, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, well, I'll definitely be watching from afar from the Sweet state of Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's gonna be exciting, we're finally getting out there to people
You might,
because before
you guys are gonna get over there, and what if you blow up really big?
that's the plan, pretty much. We
Yeah,
want
I mean,
that to happen. We want everybody to be able to listen to our songs. I think what we're doing right now is really fun, and the songs that we write are great, and people like them. So, just getting out there and getting it to many ears as possible,
yeah,
see how
you
it
guys are
see.
gonna get over there, and you're just gonna get eaten up by the Brits. They're gonna love you.
Yeah, our manager says that. He's like, "Oh, they're gonna love you guys. It's gonna be great.
Mhm.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
great." And I'm
I
like,
think
"Alright,
so.
well, let's let's get over there." I mean, really, what we've been talking about as a band is we just gotta do our jobs live, and which is no problem. I mean, we've all been playing for a long time at this point, and Adam is professional. Like, he's real professional. Even though he's not here with us, he practices every day. He does his homework. We tell him, learn these songs. He comes back with them. He's great. And so when he comes back, he's ready to go, and we just jump right in. It's been fantastic with him so far, getting ready for tour and listening to playbacks from live shows. It's great. Like we're getting there to where we want to be.
How did the clip where he was, eating a chili dog for the first time in Ohio? I forget which restaurant,
It was
but
Skyline.
Skyline, yeah. So what was his take on that?
Uh, he said it wasn't bad. Like some people like eat it and dog on it. Like this is terrible, but they get it to go. You can't get it to go. You got to eat it in. It's a different experience. And he liked it. He gave it a 7 out of 10, which is fair. I've seen people give it like a
Okay.
1. So,
Yes.
I respect it. He liked the three-way. I think he liked the conies more, because we went back a second time. He didn't get onions on anything, and I don't get onions when I go because 'cause they're kinda potent, but he got onions, and he's like, "Yeah, these are a little strong." I was like, "Yeah, dude, you can't get the onion."
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah, he
sounds like
liked it.
that's a good way for him to get a taste of Ohio, go to Skyline Chili.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sweet. So, when are you guys going on tour again? Did you say in July?
July, yeah, July.
Okay.
It's gonna
And,
be an interesting lead up.
how did you come across your manager? How did that relationship form?
He came across us, and it was his son did. His son is the one who showed him because he was kind of out of the game pretty much. Like he managed a band and then, he kind of like, nah, I'm done. And he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then, his son found us and then he was like, all right, I kind of like these guys. So he texted us and then, we just kind of started, talking and it was great. He's a really good guy. Craig is his
Oh,
name. And
well, yeah, he's
so,
doing an awesome job getting, getting you guys out there, and shit, he's got you going to the UK, so he must be
yeah,
doing something
yeah. He
right.
was like, well, that was one of the first things he said. He was like, you guys should, some point come over. It would be great to have you guys tour here for a few weeks. And what was kind of crazy is originally it was just going to be, him doing it, but a bunch of other people got involved. I mean, it's kind of crazy like how it happened. Um, he got a label called Republic of Music involved, so now we're with them, and they're gonna start distributing our stuff, making vinyl,
Oh,
CDs,
wow.
all that stuff. So we're signed to them now, which is great. It's a distribution deal. It's what we want. It's not like a traditional record deal. We also are working with United Talent Agency as well. Um, he was friends with one of the agents there named Ross, and he was really I think he really liked what we were doing. He listened to 60 Cycle, the album, and was impressed. So he decided to take us up, and he's been booking our shows and at this point, and we really couldn't have fallen into a better situation in terms of where we're at right now. But it's all thanks to Craig, because without him, we wouldn't have any of that. Really, I really am happy that everything has worked out so far with what we got.
What about his son? Does he, come out and listen to you guys? Is he gonna be involved when you go on the tour or anything since he's the one that found you?
I think he'll be at some of the shows. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I assume
Okay.
so. I know he likes our songs, so I assume he'll be there, yeah.
When you started playing together as Thorns, did you play anywhere outside of Cincinnati? Like, when you first started?
So we played our first show as a band with our OG drummer. His name was Peyton.
Uh-huh.
and he was just another one of my friends that played drums, and we needed a drummer, and he's like, "All right, I'll do it." And, so when we first started, we never really played outside of the city. It was more like we used to play house shows quite a bit,
Okay.
and I think our first show was in this garage. It was hot as shit. It was like July,
And you're
it was no,
awesome.
it was May. It was May 3rd, I remember, and, the show went really well, but, I don't know, we never really played outside of Cincinnati. Well, the only time we've played outside of here, well, then, was, I think, Middletown, which is north. It's kinda by Dayton, roughly,
Yeah.
maybe a little
Yeah, I've
past,
heard of
I don't know.
Middletown.
Yeah,
Honestly, I've never been there, but yeah, I'm familiar with the name. Have you guys ever been to Mansfield?
never.
Okay, well, that's where I'm at. So
Oh,
we're
really? Nice.
situated, yeah, we're about 2.5 hours north of you guys. So we sit right in the middle of Cleveland and Columbus. So
Okay,
Cleveland,
that makes sense.
an hour north for me, and Columbus is an hour south. So we're right in the
Oh, wow.
middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
We wanna play, Columbus at some point. I mean, really, we have a good following in Ohio. I mean, it's really solid. So, I mean, we get people like, come to Columbus," and we're like, "All right," you know? Before we go on tour, actually, that's a good time to mention this, I guess, but before we go on tour, we're gonna be playing a couple like some warm-up shows, I guess, if that's what you wanna call it, for tour before we go, and, I think we'll be playing here, and Detroit, I think. Just a
Okay.
couple like that before we go over. We'll see though. It's not confirmed yet, but I think that's what the plan is. So just to get kind
I
of
think
ready.
they
But
did I see too that you are gonna be playing somewhere in Kentucky?
yes, so that's going to be at Madison Theater. I love that place. It's in Covington,
Okay.
and um
In June?
we yeah, June 26th. I believe that
Alright.
is the day of that show. It's up on Our Band is in Town, I believe. If
Yeah,
anyone's
that's I
interested
think I saw it.
in
I was checking out,
looking at that.
your link tree and everything, so
Yeah.
so who films these clips that you guys make? Because they're pretty good, and I'm just wondering, who's the idea behind this? How you come up with, just your short clips that you're making? Who films them? Do you guys all put this together?
Yeah, I so the clips are pretty funny. So we always think of creative ways to kinda market our ideas, and it's like, sometimes we'll be sitting on Xbox, me and Peyton, and, it'll be like 2 o'clock in the morning, and, I'm like, "Dude, what'd be funny? If we had Connor, like, look like a drug dealer and opens his jacket," or something stupid like that. I don't know. I think that was his idea, but just anybody will say some idea like that, like late at night, and then when we go to do it, anybody will film it. So like sometimes it'll be me if I'm not in it. Peyton likes to film the videos. Me and Connor are mostly in it. Like actually, we haven't had Adam in any yet, really, besides the Skyline video, which is
Okay.
him just reviewing it. But recently, we've tried to increase the amount of those that we've been doing. And pretty much the ideas come from like everybody chips in
Sweet.
most of the time. So, you know, Peyton will say, "You got any ideas?" And I'll be like, "Oh, this would be hilarious if he said this or Connor did this or," and he's like, "Yeah, and then you should do this and this." And that's pretty much how the video ideas come about. And then we just go and do it. Like so the photo shoot we did with Adam, the new one that we posted back at the end of March, I believe is when that was. I don't remember, but we actually that same day we filmed that video of Connor, being sketchy in the old car garage.
They're
Because
all
we
clever.
it was pretty funny. That idea came about through I think Peyton had the idea, and then we are like, "Oh, you should do this and this, and that would be funny." So I don't know, just some pretty funny ideas like that just come about through just sitting there talking.
Yeah, a lot of creativity among you guys, for sure.
We try to think of like some stuff that I don't know that's kind of funny, like
How do you
just
like, when you're coming up with these ideas too, it sounds like you've got, among all of you, you've got a lot of just flowing creativity going. How do you remember these ideas that you come up with?
I always tell the guys, if it's good, you'll remember it. And I stick by that. If you have a good riff, if you have a good video idea, um, we remember it every time. It
Okay,
just
well,
works out. So
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, for somebody that's a little older, you might have to find a way to record some of these as you start to age. Just
for
saying.
sure.
Yeah, but that's cool.
We record like, in terms of, like, riffs and stuff, like, I always record them anyway, just so I have them. But, yeah, I mean, we do. But the video ideas, nah. I mean, we just like, "Yeah, that's a great idea," and we never forget it, and it's just like,
Yeah,
"Alright, we gotta
I wish
film
I
that."
had that memory. Yeah.
I don't know, it comes in handy.
Time is on your side right now,
It
so
is. It is.
definitely take advantage of it. I feel like, I've got Post-it notes all over the place, and even at work, people will say, "You don't wanna have to use the Post-it notes and get rid of them and use this and that, and there's an app for that." But sometimes, I just need a pen and paper, you know?
Right.
Right now, I've got my notebook sitting right here in front of me, and I've scribbled all over it. So a child that grew up and we still learn cursive, everything was done by paper. So, yeah, generational thing, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, we use paper, like, so I always keep like, so when we're doing albums, the past 2 at least, I've always kept a studio notebook. You write down everything. I mean, volume, what settings or what, what's here, what's there, how this is the layout, what's happening. So in the professional sense of actually doing a production, an album production, the 60 cycle was really complicated to do in that sense. Just the way it was different than Sick Fit. It was a lot more in terms of everything. So I made sure, I wrote down stuff for Sick Fit, but 60 was much more important for me to actually keep a note. Okay, this volume's this. So when you do the next song, you actually know what the last song was,
It
and
works.
how you
Yeah,
got the tones and everything.
sweet. Well, I was going to ask earlier too is so when you do return from your tour in the UK, do you have anything lined up?
So, not yet, but we're up for some interesting things. I don't
Ooh,
know if I'm
do
allowed to
tell.
say,
Okay,
but
all right. Can you give
I
us
have
a
no
hint?
idea. A couple tours with some bigger bands.
Goodness. Okay. All right. Are
Uh,
we talking international tours?
yes.
US? Okay.
Yes, international tours, I believe. It'll start in
Okay.
Europe. There's one in November, one in August, I believe, so that would be right after. We would stay over there if we got on that. United Talent put us up for those tours. We'll see what happens if we get any. I think
Okay.
Ross was saying stuff like that, but I don't know, we'll find out. Uh but there's one in next February, I believe. We'll see. We'll see. There's a couple.
Okay.
There's quite a few, so we're
Word will
bound to
get
get
out
one.
eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So how do your friends and family feel knowing that you guys are, getting out there? You're going to be going over to the UK pretty soon.
there it was interesting. When we first started the band, it was mostly for fun. And then, as time went on, it's like, all right, well, I guess people like this. So I guess we got to keep going. And then, we keep going and keep going. And now it's to a point where it's actually getting, professional. Like, we'd be considered professional musicians. And, my parents, all of our parents are very supportive of what we're
Good.
doing. My family is very supportive.
Will anybody be going over with you, or is it just going to be,
Uh,
the band?
So I think Connor's parents are coming for a show or two. And then I think Adam's parents. It was kind of fun. It's kind of crazy because as soon as he told them, I guess they're all really excited about it. I was like, yeah, let's, awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it is. It was really
That
cool,
is.
and I think some of his family and some of his friends are coming. It's gonna be fun. I'm
What an
really excited about it.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and but yeah, I mean, everybody's parents are really supportive. When Adam comes to stay, he stays at Peyton's house, and Peyton's parents are like, do whatever you got to do, use whatever you got to use, do whatever. It's great. Like, we practiced over there. I mean, we practice anywhere. I mean, we could go anywhere, really. Anybody's parents, they don't care. It's like, yeah, if you
Sweet.
guys are going to do this, you're going to do it. And, once we got to that point, they're really, yeah, I mean, you're there, just go and do it, you know? So.
So something else I typically ask too is, what do you want? Let's say your established fans, what do you feel that they are taking away from your music?
I want them to know that we put everything into the music, because that's really what it's about. It's not about money, it's not about the way we look, it's not about anything else. It's about the music first and foremost, and I think some bands kinda get conflicted with image and, other things, but the fans should really listen to music and be like, "Yeah, they put everything into this," and that's the way I feel that we've done with every album. Even Sick Fit, if I'm not happy with it, I think people understand there was a certain attitude with it, like, yeah, we wanna make music, and this is our first time really doing that, and, there's an attitude to it, and, with 60 Cycle, it was a level above that, like, we were hungry to achieve things, and I think it shows. So it's an attitude thing, and it's, okay, we wanna make good music for everybody to listen to, so.
What is the feedback that you typically do receive when, say, it's a new fan, they've just heard your music?
Every day we get comments on TikTok about, "Wow, this is insane. This is crazy. I finally found a new band to listen to." Things like that. "Wow, I added it to my playlist. I love this song." We have a high retention rate for a band of our size. We're not big really, like, in the grand scheme of things, but in terms of our retention rate for similar artist size on TikTok, I think we have an amazing fan base that comes back and listens and engages and everything. It's really great. I'm really grateful that the people who listen to our songs. It's crazy. They always come back, they always comment, they always like our stuff. So they're always back in the comments, and new people do the same thing. Once they listen to us, you get people who just heard of us yesterday. I'd recommended you to all my friends. This is great. This is great. Some dude commented the other day. He was like, "I got my whole football team hooked on this song." I don't remember which one it was, but it was funny. I was like,
Awesome. Yeah. I told you earlier when we were messaging trying to set this up that I'm definitely a new fan, and I've got the whole album on my Apple faves. And Muzzle is the one that really got me. I do like the 60 cycle hum also, where you're talking about nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and just the riffs. I mean, just the thrash alone is
right.
drew me in. I mean, God, I love it.
I appreciate that. I thank you. That song, the 60 cycle was one of the ones I came up with that one night, just riffing on, I down tuned to C sharp and I was like, let's just write a riff, and that was the riff that came out, and that song especially was a special one to write. It came together really easily. It was one of the easier songs to write. I think I didn't have really an issue coming up with the riffs in that song because it was just so it flowed, everything. I don't even know where some of the riffs came from. It just kinda happened. It was kinda like that for that song. I don't even know how to explain it, but Peyton came up with some of the most of the lyrics for that song, and,
Okay.
we were in the studio, me and him kinda collaborate on the lyrics. So.
All right. I was going to ask.
Right. So in terms of studio collaboration, me and him do a lot of the lyric writing. I think it's just me and him pretty much. The other guys,
Okay.
they can, say whatever they want about the lyrics, and hey, you got an idea? Sure, sure. We'll take anybody's idea, but me and him mostly contribute to the lyric writing. So, he might write 60 cycle most of it, and then I'll come in and say, "Okay, this line here, this could be better. What if we put this line here?" And then he'll do the same thing with me. I wrote head case all the way. He'll come back and say, "Okay, this line could be better. What if we change that?" And we did that with every song, and it just works fantastic that way. It's just so smooth when we write songs because everything just kind of comes together and works out. So yeah,
Well, he's definitely a beast in the Born Unto Chains. I love the bass, right at the beginning of the song. Yeah, he's a beast.
that's an underrated song. I that doesn't have many streams. I'm really sad. We that song was like I remember he came to practice one day. He's like, "Guys, I got this bass riff I wanna use," and,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like "I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about it at first." "On
it
this
goes
song?
hard.
Are you sure?" And, we put it together and it worked out. It was cool. So when we did that, when we recorded that song, it was interesting. So we just we took we recorded it separately and then put it on the intro, and then we also did the when all the drums come in, did that
Mhm.
separately as well. And
Okay.
it's actually a couple different bass tones. Like the intro is different from when the rest of the band kicks in to back to the normal tone we used on
Uh,
the rest of the album.
okay. All
So
right. See, that's
I don't
something I would
remember.
not have picked up on, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not the same. It's just I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I can't remember if we just said it was too muddy or what, but we just wanted something a little brighter, and a little more punchy, and I think it worked out. But it just did the service to the intro because I really like it. It's not a song that we would have typically written. I don't think it wasn't a song that we were like, I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't a song that we would write before, I guess, if that's what I'm
okay.
trying to say. Because actually, that was the first song we started on besides Muzzle. Those were
Oh,
the first
really?
2 songs. Yeah. The first 2 songs we did for the new album. We started working on them first, those 2.
Okay. So yeah, that Born Unto Chains, 60 Cycle Hum, and Muzzle. Those are I would definitely my faves off of this album.
Those are solid picks. I'm really proud of how it turned out. Everything flows to me. I think it's what we wanted Sick Fit to be, but it just
Okay.
wasn't. It wasn't. It just
It just
didn't work
wasn't
out
there
that
yet.
way. It wasn't there. Right, it wasn't, and,
Well, you gotta start
that's fine.
somewhere. So you guys have had
Right,
sound, a pretty solid, good start. I mean, you guys you formed when you're in high school?
2022. Yep,
Okay.
senior year of high school, and back then, it was just me and Peyton messing around, and it was interesting because my parents I really wanted a home studio. This is when I was starting to really get into music,
Okay.
and I really wanted a home studio, and I was like, we just moved into this house that we're in now, and my parents were like the basement was unfinished. So we go down and, this is a great place for a studio, are you gonna let me build one? And they're like, you get a corner. So I picked out the corner in the basement and they're like, if you pay for it, you can do it. And so I saved up pretty much that whole year before we built it. And my parents were redoing but finishing the basement anyway. So, I just paid for, drywall, insulation, the framing, the wood, all that. And
Who did the work? Did you
my
have somebody
dad
do it or
My dad
Oh, okay.
my dad built it, and then we had some guy come and do the drywall, but other than that, yeah, my dad did it mostly, and I helped him out, so
Okay. And how did you come up with the idea on how to design the studio?
it was, me and it was my freshman year of college, and, I not paying attention, just sitting there, "Alright, I want this to be this long, and I wanna put a door right here, and then, let's have a window right here, this'll be the on look into inside," and pretty much just me in class not paying attention, daydreaming about what this studio would
Doodling?
look like. Yeah, I mean, pretty much,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, yep, it was pretty much designed right there, and then, my dad was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Alright. And then when you guys get together and practice, is it there at your studio, or
Yeah, yep.
do you have other places? Alright.
We
And
can
then
practice anywhere at, Peyton's house is the other place that we've practiced. He has this really cool, like, garage bar thing, but he's got enough
Oh,
space in there for the whole band, so, we just sit in there
okay.
and jam and for that, but otherwise, we practice here, yeah. But, it's interesting though. This'll I mean, I was telling the guys, this last album might be one of the last ones that we do here because, we're 22. At some point, I can't stay in my parents' house forever, you know. So it's like, pretty soon we're hoping to make enough money to where we can either, buy a place or rent somewhere that we can actually practice and do the albums and
So, am I hearing
uh,
you say that you don't want to be the 40-year-old son that's living in your parents' basement?
yes, yes,
You've
correct.
got goals.
Yeah, right. Well, and the other thing is Adam, we can't expect him to be at Peyton's house for months at a time. It's just inconveniencing his parents and all that. And we don't want to do that. I don't think they care, but it's just our like, okay, you know, out of respect.
Yeah.
We need to get our own place, and
It
that's the
will
plan.
happen. All yeah,
Yeah,
all in
for
due
sure.
time, for sure. But,
Right, we're
well,
not
that's good.
rushing
It
it,
sounds
but
like you guys are motivated. I'm not hearing that you guys you're, expecting to crash in your parents' homes forever,
no,
because
we
there
have
are guys
ambitions,
out
not
there that's how they get by.
right, which
They
is
live in
fine.
mom's basement.
I get it. This profession is not one that, especially when you're in our position right now, it's not one that you make a lot of money, but you can if you know how to do it. And that's just not what we want. We don't want to be a burden to our parents anymore. We want to do our own thing, get our own place. And, anywhere we go, we're going to build another studio because I'm not spending all that money and having, the company say, you gotta add another song here. You gotta do this. We like the creative freedom, and that's really what I was inspired. I think by Eddie Van Halen when he built 5150, the studio. It's like, okay, have our own place to figure things out and do it our own way instead of having a set time in a studio.
Yeah.
Now I have time on my own hands in my own studio to get sounds that I want
Well,
in
and
my own free time.
you've got that experience now where you put together,
Right.
what you have, and even just, the recording process that you've gone through. Um, yeah, you'll have a new studio set up in no time.
Uh, yeah, it's definitely a necessity. Me and Peyton have talked about, because for his job, like, because he's not in college, but for his job, he actually does, you know, renovations, fixes things,
Okay,
frames, does drywall. So, me and him,
sweet.
pretty much the whole band probably could build a pretty sick studio anywhere we go. So,
And, well, you mentioned that, a time when you were in college. What did you study?
I'm actually about to graduate. So I studied
This year?
history. I'm a history. What's that? Yeah, yeah,
Are
this
you gra
year.
Oh, congratulations. What
Thank you.
college?
Thank you. Xavier University.
Okay, and you
So
studied history?
I did, yes. It was,
Nice.
people ask me, why didn't you do music? And it was history is kind of an escape from that. Like I want to do something else that's not music. I didn't want it to be everything that I did. I wanted something else to keep me engaged. And history makes for good song choices. So any idea
Yeah,
that,
that's true.
I get from reading some story or something like that, oh, this would be a really cool song idea or anything like that. I don't know. Just it kind of an escape, but yeah. And then Connor's also, he is a junior right now, but I don't know if he's going to be going back next year.
What is he studying?
He's starting to be a pharmacist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
And then
what about the other guys? Do they have any interests outside of the band?
Adam, he's actually significantly old. Well, not significantly. He's 26. So he's been out
Okay.
a while, and then Peyton, he went his first year, but he didn't really like college. So his dad ran a down like business already, so he just joined up with him, and then he's been doing that ever since. I mean, what my parents told me is get your degree, and then you can do what you want. So that was the rule, and I've done it. So now it's time to take advantage of what we've done in the meantime while we've done that.
Which is a lot. I mean, how do you plan to celebrate your graduation?
Um,
That's a big achievement.
Probably go out and drink with the guys. Probably.
Nice.
That's probably what it'll be, and then, obviously, we'll go to my parents will go to dinner sometime, and we'll it'll
Okay.
be
So no big party, no big blowout or
not
anything like
really,
that.
no. I'm not
Alright.
a I mean, maybe, I don't know what they have planned, but I personally, I don't. It's just, you know, it's
And there's
alright.
no right or wrong way in how you celebrate, but at least, have some sort of celebration and pat yourself on the back.
Right.
That's a big achievement, especially along with the work that all of you guys are putting in for the band and the music. So,
It was hard sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like, between sometimes it's really like, we talk about this all the time, at least me and Peyton, it's like, he was telling me one day, he was like, man, I really do not want to work this job. I really want to play music full time. And I was like, you're telling me, man, I hate school right now. I really don't want to be doing it. But, I'm a senior at this point and, finish out. But it's like, We there's nothing else that I'd rather do than to play music. Just over the years of doing it and really building a fan base and actually making albums, it's really what I wanna do, and that's what everybody else, before we decided to go with Craig and all this crazy stuff happened, when it happened, we were like, "Alright, guys, this is an insane choice that we have to make. Are you in? Because if you're not, you know, no shame in it if you don't wanna do it, but we'll find somebody else, and we're gonna do it because this is what, we want." And everybody was like, "Yeah, we're ready to go. We want
You know,
this
on
really
board.
bad." Yeah, and, we're full send, and that's the way Adam, he came on and, we were telling him this stuff, and I think he's like it was hard for him to even believe some of the stuff we were telling him. Like, "Oh, yeah, we got this tour offer and, we just signed with these guys and we're doing this and we want you to come out and join us." And, he's in California. Never in my mind did I imagine when we first started the band that we'd have some dude who would fly and we would be able to afford to fly him out multiple times, like, from the band. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of things that we've been able to accumulate as a band and just bring everything together through the music and all that, just to have him come here and play. It's crazy, like, to even think about that we even have this opportunity. We're just really grateful for it, and, we really wanna do it, like I said, so
Well, you can hear in the songs, just how everybody is you're all collectively on point, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Impeccable. Just it's when I hear your music, I would guess that you guys were at least in your 30s.
yeah, I show my family some of the songs or some of the people who aren't maybe necessarily in the loop of what I've been up to, and they'll say like, "That's not you, is it?" Or, uh, "Yeah, this sounds really professional." It's really just it's crazy that we've been able to do what we've been able to do here, especially at my house. I mean, that's pretty much getting everybody to come here and just record, and it's been really, a great experience. But it's crazy, you tell people what you've been doing and kind of the way that we've done things and the songs that we've done. I understand, like, it's not something that I thought would sound like that or the way we started.
Um, how do you feel about the influence of AI in music? Are you a
I'm
fan
not
of
a
it?
fan. Not
Not a
at all.
fan? Okay.
Not at all. I just think it's disingenuous to
I agree.
yeah. We feel about that with bands that use AI posters or it's just like, come on, guys, like you can make a flyer from nothing. Like you don't even have like when we started, AI was not big at all. Like it was
Uh-huh.
well, it started roughly around that time. And when we started, we just downloaded an app and it was like, okay, we're gonna put some text here and we're gonna put a picture here and we're gonna put our show here. It's not that hard to make your own stuff.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
It's not. And I just think it's disingenuous to actual artists who actually do it. And then on top of the music portion, not just the, the generative AI for like posters and stuff, but I
Uh-huh.
just think it's for music, that's not fair to actual people who actually make music because that's not a real person. It's
Right.
not anybody who sat there and went through a process.
Yeah.
Like there's no thinking in it. It's just
I just don't
generate me a
understand
song.
yeah, I don't even understand why AI is being used to create songs, from scratch.
It's just taking
I
things
mean,
from other people anyway.
what's the idea behind that, other than, yeah, making people think that it's a true person?
Right. It's I don't know, a cash grab. I have no idea. I have no clue. I just think yeah, you can generate a song, but you're not gonna have a band like us on there. Like it's
Mhm.
four separate people coming together to create a song that might take months to make instead of typing in a prompt, doing this and that, and then oh, we got a song. You know, it's not
Well, yeah, and, like, back in the day, say, like, 20 years ago, I thought it was stretching it just to have, a hologram of, say, a performer who's passed away, to have
I agree.
them, come on stage and have that presence, as a hologram. It was pretty cool. I've seen it before. It can definitely give you a lot of emotions and things like that,
Right,
but the idea behind it was still a little odd, and now we're, on the total opposite end of that and just creating something from nothing that is human.
right. And, well, I liked what Skinner did. What they have done is, instead of doing any of that, because none of I have my opinions on that whole situation as well, but in
What has
term
Skinner done? I'm not familiar with that.
well, they have no original members anymore, but what they used to do instead of you just bring out another singer. You just leave, and they had, Ronnie Van Zant's hat on his, microphone pole. That's all the tribute you need, and you're still singing the song.
Mhm.
He wrote the song. You don't need, some hologram or some AI to sing the song, yeah, or anything like that, especially live, but I just mean in general, like, no hologram, anything like that. You just the simple, hat on the stand, that's a tribute enough. You're still playing the song.
Yeah,
That's my
right.
opinion on that. It and I don't know. I think people are just gonna use it for things of that nature. I just think it's disingenuine.
Yeah, I agree. It is. So before we head off of here, I'm going to mention this is something I always put into all of my podcasts for my audience, and that is parents and guardians. If you have children that show an interest in the arts and music, help them explore that, get them involved, whether, you're just helping them pick out musical instruments, enrolling them in music lessons, let them join the band, help them pursue that because where would we be without music? Music, it saves lives and it's good in so many ways that, sometimes it's even harder for us to comprehend, but that's a plug I always put in, support your kids and, help them pursue that. We definitely wanna keep the rock and metal alive as well.
Absolutely.
And one question too, I keep forgetting to ask is, were any of you guys in band throughout school?
No, this is our first band.
But you never played in the high school band or
Nope,
joined band? None of you guys did?
nope.
Really? You're the
Yeah.
first band I have talked to where, nobody was in band throughout school,
Nope,
but it
nope.
sounds like you were playing guitar at a young age.
I think everybody, well, except Peyton. Everybody played their instruments for a while, I believe. Connor
Did you
started
take
roughly when
music
I did.
lessons?
So that's funny. The first time I met Connor for real, really, was
Uh-huh.
we went to the same guitar teacher, when we
Okay,
started. So I knew him. He had the lesson after me,
okay.
with our guy Chris. So, that's how I knew who he was, that I knew how that he played guitar. And so yeah, I mean, that was funny. Peyton, no, Peyton, he started on guitar when we first started the band. He started on guitar, and then he's like, "Nah, this feels too small for me." So he picked up a bass, and that's pretty
Alright.
much that.
Yeah, well, him and the bass go perfect together.
It suits him. I think that was really what he was meant to play. Better than guitar for sure. It worked out. It did.
Oh, I just had something too and it left me. See, I told ya. Post-it notes. Damn. Passing fleeting thought. Um, yeah, have you had anything crazy that you can, share with any of the shows that you've played so far?
Anything crazy?
Anything that stands out?
Well, I'll tell you about a show. It was really funny. Not really, but so we were playing a show, and the worst thing that can happen is I broke a string in the middle on the E string, and it was terrible. So I'm going to play, and I'm like, "What is going on with my guitar?" And then I just see my E string like out, and I'm like, so I have to like sit there and pretend for the rest of the song like I'm hitting the E string, but I got to go ahead and hit the other chords. It was funny. I was like,
So you
"Man, this
improvised.
is right." I was like, "Wow, this is great. This is great." And I don't have anybody that would run back and get my extra guitar, so I'm just up there. It was hilarious. But other than that, we did meet Eddie Trunk from
Oh, you
Trunk
did?
Nation XM. We did. He came to one of our shows out at in Middletown. That was the Middletown show, and we met him, and he was filming like some documentary on his career, and we got to talk in it for a little. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but we just talked to him about Van Halen and, you know, how long we've been a band and stuff like that. So it was really
Sweet.
fun.
Have you ever watched, his shows that he did, a while ago where he would have, like, Stump the Guest, you know, that he'd have the musicians on and they'd be
Was it
interviewing and
that
stuff,
metal
and then
show?
that metal show, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
did you ever watch
Yeah,
those?
I've
You
yeah,
seen those?
my mom actually used to watch those all the time, and I've watched a few clips, but nowadays, I always watch him. He always interviews people, on, like, YouTube and stuff, on, like, XM, on stuff like that, and,
Mhm.
you know, I see him talking to Michael Anthony and all these other people, so I just tune in and watch because I like his interviews. I like the questions he asks, so, yeah, but that was probably the craziest thing that's happened to us. Meeting him was really cool.
That's awesome.
I remember seeing he was in, like, Wyoming or something, I don't remember. Down
Yeah, I
here.
wanted to
I
go
know he
see him
was
when he
down
came
here.
through, but, yeah, he's definitely, a really cool guy. I've always liked, his show, that metal show. I used to watch it. And, I thought it was just cool then, you know, you just let the audience ask questions and try to stump him and the other guy that was
Yeah.
on it with him. It was
Oh,
pretty
I don't
cool.
remember his
They
name.
need to bring it back. That'd be so sweet if
They
they did.
do. Well, he just posted a video the other day talking about, you know, the all the good things people have to say, especially like from my generation about his shows, and he's like surprised that people still watch it. I'm like, yeah, man, I like hearing what these people have to say. It's really
Mhm.
cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So he came through and then, Ricky Ruckman came through too.
right.
He's doing a tour, that I wish I had gone to see, but hopefully he'll, continue to do tours,
Oh, for
here in the near
sure.
future, so yeah, that is one dude I would really like to meet, and if I can't meet, at least see in person because he's got some killer stories, you know,
Absolutely,
he was the life of Headbangers Ball, so
he was. He
definitely.
was.
It's just kinda sad
Absolutely.
to see that, you know, it's everything's social media now, so, you know, MTV and VH1, things like that, that I had, you know,
They're gone.
and pretty much was yeah, that's how we got our music, so
Right.
just totally different ways now. Like
It is.
TikTok, I've discovered so many awesome people just through TikTok alone.
And that's
It's
the thing.
amazing.
There is a genre of band out right now that refuses to use social media to their advantage, and to me, I think it's ridiculous. Just in general, I think,
What are they
you
using
know, if
then? Are they just going the traditional old school
right.
route?
It just doesn't work like that anymore. You know, it's not how it was. And our manager
Mhm.
tells us that all the time. He says, you know, it's not the '80s anymore. You know, that's not the way things
Mhm.
work. It's through social media. That's how you get out there now. It's not necessarily, it's a combination of both shows and social media. But social media is so
Right,
important to being able to communicate that out into the world. It is so much easier to be able
right.
to do that. But it's just weird to me that the bands choose not to use it because that's how we got out there, that's how we got our music out there, and that's why we're in the position that we're in. So, I recommend to anybody listening, please, as a band, use social media to your advantage.
Definitely.
It's so important now.
I would add on to that too, don't let it replace the connection that you need to have with fans, you know,
Absolutely, yes.
keep those personal connections going. Again, you can use social media for that, but, you know, and just also in person at your shows, you know, be available for the fans in one way or another. Don't let the social media replace all of that, those connections for you.
Right, because they're the reason you're playing, you know, the fans in the first
Absolutely.
place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, one of those shows, again, back in the day, it was, God, it was they had, I can't remember the name of the show, but it was basically like a competition, you know, they had all these, bodybuilders and people with muscles and things like that, and they would go and do these ridiculously crazy obstacle courses and things like that, and to make it look like they had a full audience, they went and used cardboard silhouettes and placed them in the seats around the arena. Yeah, to make it look like they were playing to a full audience. It's
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah. That
Wow.
insane. I can't remember the name of that right now, but it was funny because I was just watching a documentary about it, and, when they brought that up, I was like, "Oh my god, they really did it." They didn't
Wow.
care. Yeah.
Nah, that's
Oh,
crazy.
the one thing I was gonna mention to you too, this is what I had forgot earlier. So, a recent episode I did with, this guy Tony from Inoculation, he makes guitars. He makes
Oh,
his own
wow.
guitars. Yeah, super sweet. So,
That
it's
is cool.
yeah. Um, I was like, yeah, when you're out there traveling and, in your free time, that's what he works on, and I was like, "You never know, you could kind of, make that a side gig and get out there, take that with you, and sell it to other people." So, it's
Yeah,
just neat. Yeah.
I've made a couple well, I've made one guitar before, and it's my Explorer that I have in my basement that I never play because the electronics are bad, but I gotta replace them. But yeah, I would like to build guitars. That's an interest of mine that I've never really explored that much. I've made
Really?
one. Yeah, I
Okay.
have so many cool ideas that I think would be really cool, but I just don't know how to do it, but I'd just research it probably and figure it out. There's a spec I have a guitar that I'd love to make that I would probably make the guitar that I would play all the time. Like, it would just be my signature guitar, I guess, if that's what you wanna call it, but I just there's just they just don't make it, like, they don't make a guitar like that. So, I would be interested in possibly exploring that option. That's funny that you brought that up, but yeah, I'd love
Yeah.
to pursue that at some point for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you his contact info if you ever wanna reach out to him.
Oh, for sure.
They're like a death metal band, but
Okay.
their lyrics and songs, evolve around sci-fi, so that's their passion. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they've got some pretty cool music. They're out of Cleveland,
Oh,
but
wow,
he was a
okay.
pretty cool dude, and I was like, "Yeah, this is why I love doing the podcast because, I'm meeting, um, some kick-ass musicians, but
Right.
learning about the skills and passions and what drives you behind the music, and it's really cool to be able to share that with other people too.
Absolutely. That is great. I mean, that is the great thing about now, like, at the time we live, being able to do this. It's just great. It's great.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years for Luke,
Touring
you personally? Touring?
with the band, yeah. That's the only thing. Like, that's option A and only. There's only one option. The band is number one. Playing out, playing festivals, getting on tours, making great records. That's where I see us as a band and me. I wanna be at playing and doing that professionally for as long as I can.
Well, it definitely looks very promising.
It does. It does. I'm really proud of the band, but thank you. Thank you.
Well, as we head off of here, thank you again so much. It's been
Absolutely.
awesome to actually get to talk to you and learn more about the band as a whole, and, yeah, I'll definitely be paying attention here from the tiny, tiny state of Ohio. Actually, the tiny town of Mansfield, Ohio. A lot of people, even just like with people I've connected with on TikTok and stuff, if they see that I mention Mansfield, they're like, "Oh, Mansfield." Let's see, there's a couple different towns in Mansfield. There's like a Mansfield, Texas. Um, Another state has a Mansfield. And then I tell them where I'm at, and they're like, "Oh, never heard of it." But
Well,
you'll have to.
yeah,
We can't all live in the metropolis.
it's true. It's true.
Are you born and raised in Cincinnati?
I am, yes.
Okay. Yeah, born and raised in Mansfield for me.
Are you? Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, a lot of my family though is from uh Kentucky, like very southern, like near
Okay. Yeah.
Middlesboro. So down there, that's where
Mhm.
my family's mostly from, but everyone's here now, obviously. But yeah, Kentucky and here.
Okay. All right. Well, Ohio, you heard it first from Luke with the band Thorns, and you'll have to check them out. I'm gonna link their information when this gets posted, and keep an eye on them. These guys are definitely, a kick-ass band. If you're into the thrash groove metal, this band is it. So, Luke, thank you again so much for being on, and until then, keep it loud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.